Hi. So I did get new glasses. So glad you noticed. Let's lock in. It's been so long since I filmed a video. I have one video that I just need to edit from forever ago now, but unfortunately it's going to take a while and therefore I've put it off. Instead, I've chosen to write a book, a short story, and then another short story all at once. But it's been so long that now I have to listen to music again to be like a normal person. But this time, on an iPod Touch second generation. While I recognize that I don't necessarily make like one genre of videos, I am primarily a gaming channel. So this is something new. I have a book. I got this book like early 2020, maybe even late 2019, okay? Read it. The Turn of the Screw, The Aspirin Papers, and Two Stories by Henry James. As you can see, I have a bookmark in. I've finished The Aspirin Papers, and I'm maybe a quarter through The Turn of the Screw. Now, the reason I got this book at that time, actually, fun fact, there is, in the back, a page that says inspired by The Turn of the Screw and The Aspirin Papers, which lists notable film adaptations of books, the short stories, the novellas. I don't know what they are. I don't know the word count. So I got this book for a very specific reason. So I've always been a nerd. Nobody's gonna be surprised by that. I've always loved reading ever since I was a kid, but I will say why am I getting embarrassed? I think it's because he's so close in age to me that it's like a little weird. I don't know. I got this book because I found out Finn Wolfhard was going to be in an adaptation of The Turn of the Screw, and I wanted to read it first. Now, Finn Wolfhard, that was like one of my first ever severe celebrity crushes back in early middle school, okay? Unfortunately, I'm still in the house.
So, what the fuck?
I think that's honestly like just my like this. Like at this point, it's just my type in men. That's where the somber obsession has come from. Roll the clip from the stream a few days ago. At the time I'm recording this, it is currently January 25th, 3 a.m. 2026. Roll the clip.
Because as I mentioned earlier, I got a lot of somber videos on my For You page recently. And I was like, isn't this guy like around my age, right? Thinking he was a little bit older than me, right? So I googled it. I think he's. Hang on, we're about to find X. I don't remember. I'm 2 months older. I thought he was 2 months older than me. I'm 2 months older. Oh my god, I'm 2 months older than Somber. Oh, it's over for me. It's actually over for me. It was already bad when I thought he was 2 months older than me, but now that I'm 2 months older than him. Wait, I gotta. There's no way. There's no way. Please don't tell me that's true. Dude, say whatever you want about that man. I don't care. I'm 2 months older than him. 2 months older. And he's doing all. So it's over for me. I should give up. It's done. I would go to one of his shows and he would call me old. Freshly 20. I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of him. Actually, I might get. People might not like this, but I'm low-key a little bit of a somber supporter. I'm sorry. Not really. I think he's chill. We're still a little weird. I relate. So, like, I thought he was 2 months older than me, so I was like, I gotta get on the grind. I gotta put myself back out there. You know what I'm saying? But now that I realize I'm 2 months older, I gotta give up again. The crazy cycle I'm in. This is like my life. I've said this for a while now. My life is a comedy, a tragic comedy, but a comedy nonetheless. Anyways, Somber, feel free to hit me up. You wanna go out sometime? I can't help it. You know what? I won't be ashamed. I will feel ashamed later when I'm no longer sleep deprived and can think rationally. Maybe. Hit me up, Somber. I'm cooked. Finn Wolfhard and Somber have the same middle name. I found this out accidentally. What factory is making this archetype of men? And where can I put him in order? What is wrong with me? I need to be psychoanalyzed. There's something wrong in here. I need to be studied in a lab. They would find so many new mental illnesses.
Aww. I love. I can't even. I'm not gonna go there. But if I were to read to you the film adaptations, you will notice that there is no The Turning in it, because obviously I got it before that came out. Now, unfortunately, I didn't finish. And as I said, that Finn Wolfhard, I found him through It and Stranger Things. Most people have. And he was the reason I read It in middle school. Probably should not have. I was probably a little bit too young for that, but I digress. Love that book, despite one of the things that happens near the end of it. I also read The Goldfinch because The Goldfinch I actually did finish before the movie came out, and it is one of my favorite books of all time now, so shout out to Finn Wolfhard for that. The movie was unfortunately kind of lacking. I could go crazy about the Goldfinch for hours. I didn't finish The Turn of the Screw, because unfortunately I got like maybe a chapter or two in, and I was like bored. I like the aspirin papers. I don't know what it is about The Turn of the Screw. The Turn of the Screw is inherently more interesting, and yet I'm currently at the start of chapter 6. I've been slow to get back to it. And granted, I have been writing a lot, so my theater unfortunately doesn't have or do physical tickets anymore. So sad. When these movies came out, they did. And I saved them. I saw The Turning first January 24th, 2020, and then again February 1st, 2020. I saw it twice in theaters. And I have never seen it again since. Now, like everybody else who has seen that movie, when I saw the ending in the theater, I said, "What was that?" And I was really thinking, maybe if I actually read the book, maybe it would have made more sense. But unfortunately, I never picked it back up. But yeah, I've been in fandom spaces for a long time, and obviously some people before watching The Turning had read the short story before, and I saw a lot of things. And so that kind of filled in some things for me. By the way, this is going to have so many spoilers. I forgot to mention spoilers for the book, spoilers for the movie especially. But like, about Peter Quint being a ghost, possessing Miles. Because of course all this was centered around Finn Wolfhard. That's the only reason people cared about the movie. Me too. Trigger warning for like child abuse. People would talk about how it's implied that, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. People talking about Miles canonically being bisexual. That was everything to people. It was everything to me, and I wasn't even able to confirm or deny it. I loved it still. I was like, yeah, why not? He's bisexual. I didn't know that.
Whoa, he's bisexual. I didn't know that.
By the way, I'm bisexual.
But him being implied at least to be like sexually abused by the dude. And I was like, wow, you know what? Some of these things make a little bit more sense. This is written by a man. But the governess is a woman. And I feel like he's trying to get in the mind of a woman and how, oh, maternal instincts. But because it's written by a man, it just seems a little weird. Because, like, the whole time, it's like, gosh, these beautiful children, especially this little girl. She's so perfect. I love her so much. And it's a little excessive. Yeah, okay, so I watched this movie twice in 2020, and then I never watched it again. I obviously don't remember it much. But I remember, was it Mrs. Groves? I remembered her in my mind in the movie, she was there to like introduce the new governess and then left and then occasionally came back. She was not really there, but it's making them seem like they're besties and they talk all the time about nothing. How old was I in 2020? Okay, so I'm 20 now. Oh god, I'm 20 now. How old was I 5 years ago? I was 15! I was 15. Oh. This is just about a girl kind of losing her mind and, like, being really enamored with some very young children. And I do, obviously, really love classics, because that's pretty much primarily what I do read. But they can, in our modern world of brain rot, it can be a bit dense. And I'm thinking that's maybe my main problem with getting through it. Yeah, I don't know. I suppose we'll do like a little reading vlog type-esque vibe, and then I'll watch the movie and give my thoughts on both. Let you know if it makes any more sense. Wait, no, the movie came out January 2020. This was like maybe mid to early 2019 that I got this book. And it's 2026. I will watch the theatrical release. Then I'll probably pull up the alternate ending and also touch on that. But yeah, I don't know. I think I've yapped enough. I'm gonna read this. I might check in at some points to yap about if anything makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, it's currently January 25th, 2026. We'll see when I finish this book. Okay, listen. I'm only 2 pages into chapter 6. It's the 26th. I clearly have not been holding good to my homework so far. 2 pages into chapter 6. This is what I'm talking about. This lady is a little weird. She hasn't been here for long. That much I know is true. She hasn't been here for long. She hasn't known the kids for long. She's known Miles even less, okay? Because they picked him up like the second day she was there, but she hasn't been there for very long. They picked him up like maybe like the first week of her being there. I don't know. But let me just read this out to you. It was Quint's own fancy to play with him, I mean, to spoil him. She paused a moment, then added, Quint was much too free. This gave me, straight from my vision of his face, such a face, a sudden sickness of disgust. Too free with my boy? My boy? Girl, this is not your child. This is not your child. Because I'm thinking in terms of the movie, right? That I saw 6 years ago. But I'm thinking in terms of the movie, and I'm like, they made it out to be that Miles was almost obsessed with her. Which, knowing kind of what I know, makes sense. We'll get there. But, what? Because she's the one obsessed with him! And Flora. Sorry, I'm a spine breaker. But I want to... The writing, again, I love the writing, but it is just, it's a lot. I said this before. The brain rot of modern day makes it a little bit of a struggle. I mean, Lolita took me, when I read it at the end of 2025, and Lolita took me a few months just because the language itself can be quite dense at times, which isn't a bad thing. It just takes me a little longer. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Like, she's obsessed with, like, a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I actually don't know their ages. I'm a highlighter. I was dazzled by their loveliness. This is about Miles, because, of course, we know my obsession with Finn Wolfhard. I don't want to call it that. But naturally, I'm naturally more interested in Miles Fairchild as a character. Both the children had a gentleness. It was their only fault. He had never for a second suffered. I believe that is not the case. His indescribable little air of knowing nothing in the world but love. I find that hard to believe. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say. I'm going to continue reading, hopefully. I will check back in if I have something else to say. Okay, I'm literally back like a few minutes later. First of all, we got confirmation. When talking about Flora, she says, the child of 8. It's been a long time since I've watched this movie. We find out that there's another ghost, her predecessor. They said that and I instantly remembered more of the plot, which is already so little. Halfway through chapter 8, but we got there. We got some more plot. I would also like to mention, the dialogue is so dramatic. It's so dramatic. Mrs. Groves tried to keep up with me. You mean you're afraid of seeing her again? Oh no, that's nothing now. Then I explained, it's of not seeing her. But my companion only looked wan? James Wan? I don't understand. Why, it's that the child may keep it up, and that the child assuredly will, without my knowing it. At the image of this possibility, Mrs. Groves for a moment collapsed, yet presently to pull herself together again as from the positive force of the sense of what, should we yield an inch, there would really be to give away. All the dialogue happens between these two characters, I swear. They're so dramatic. Mostly Mrs. Groves. She's mostly the dramatic one. She'll say something, and, like, let me act out Mrs. Groves for you. She's like, in 5 seconds flat, 0 to 100, immediately. She's always collapsing. They're full of silly and whimsy somehow, despite the fact that this, like, is supposedly their worst nightmare. That's a silly ass response. That's my only update. I'm not gonna update again until I actually have something to say. I promise. I come to you a few minutes later to say that I finished chapter 9. New developments. Now, as I mentioned, there has been lots of talks since the movie came out and the book was being talked about again. Namely, well, again, I haven't finished it, so we'll just say subtext of the possibility of children. I don't know how much I can say on YouTube. I haven't finished it, so I don't know if this will be fully confirmed later, but as of right now, let's have a little chat. Page 152. In my copy, that has multiple. He did what he wished. With her, with them all. We continue. Said to Mrs. Rose, what was it you had in mind when, in our distress, before Miles came back, over the letter from his school, you said, under my insistence, that you didn't pretend for him he hadn't literally ever been bad. He has not truly ever, in these weeks that I myself have lived with him and so closely watched him, he has been an imperturbable little prodigy of delightful, lovable goodness. Again, weird. Therefore, you might perfectly have made the claim for him if you had not, as it happened, seen an exception to take. What was your exception, and to what passage in your personal observation of him did you refer? We continue. It was neither more nor less than the particular fact that for a period of several months, Quint and the boy had been perpetually together. We continue. When he had gone off with the fellow, I mean, and spent hours with him. This is just... There was something in the boy that suggested to you, I continued, his covering and concealing of their relation. So, not cool. Obviously, there are... The wording choice for such an old book kind of makes things a little confusing. Like, here at the end of chapter 8, it says, surely you don't accuse him of carrying on an intercourse that he conceals from me? Hey, I explained this very poorly, so here I am to explain better. Obviously, the term intercourse can be used in very many contexts. The word doesn't just mean, obviously... So yes, obviously the term intercourse can mean just a relationship happening, and not even a romantic one, just so we're clear. I'm talking vague relationship. But also the popular theory and argument that I'm trying to make here is that the word choice can obviously mean something completely innocent, but also maybe it is trying to give the idea of perhaps something else also happening. A double meaning, dare I say. Who knows? I didn't write the book. The guy's dead. Okay, I'm done. Back to the video. But as of right now, what I thought at the time were fan theories might prove to be very correct. And possibly that's why he's being so chill with her at the moment. Because, I remember in the movie, he was very unchill with her. They were not chill. But things are coming together. Things are coming together. I got about this much left. It's still just kind of word salad. I think what doesn't help that the fact that not much happens is the fact that it's being written in past tense from the character, recounting what happened. It makes it a little more boring. The things being talked about in it are quite interesting, and when things do happen, I'm enjoying it. But I don't know, it's just a lot of yes, this kind of sucked, and then this happened, and then nothing happened, and then this happened. But unfortunately, the things happening are quite few and far between at the moment. Yeah, I'm done for now. Something to think about. I don't know. So I'm blonde now. But more importantly, I've read more. I dyed my hair the night after that last recording, but now it's February 3rd. I've just started chapter 10, but I just really would like to read to you the very opening of chapter 10. I remained a while at the top of the stair, but with the effect presently of understanding that when my visitor had gone, he had gone. Then I returned to my room. Nothing happens. Also, when I read chapter 9, I wrote down some notes. Chocolate milk. Deaf, unreliable narrator, but I already knew that and just haven't mentioned it yet. More to suggest Miles is possessed or something. More weird, gross wording, but they're all still mostly getting along, actually. Ghost stuff finally happened. And that's all that I have written down for chapter 9. And surprisingly, that's the most that's ever happened in this entire book, it feels. Speaking of ghosts and the fact that this is becoming more obviously a ghost story, obviously I knew that it was a ghost story going in because it's marketed as one. And I watched the movie and everything. But, if this was the 1980s and not, 1907 or something, then I would have the perfect number for these guys to call. Wait a second. Okay, I'm done now. I'll get back to y'all when I've actually read more. Also, please let me know what y'all think about me being blonde. I just disappear and then I come back looking completely different all the time. This is what I do. Okay, I'm back only like another 2 chapters later, by the way. And also, it's 2 p.m. I'm sorry if I'm talking quieter. My family's actually up, and I don't like them to hear me. So I would like to mention I've since taken on 2 more story projects to write. I'll just be giving myself so much work. I don't... For chapter 10, I wrote, has Miles even said a word, Lamau? Why did he have such a big part of the movie then, Lamau? And then also the briefest Miles drama with him being out at night. And then, chapter 11, which I have just finished. Main character Loki starting to hate Miles and his ghost kid antics. Now we're getting movie accurate with like 2 of the party emojis. She's still nice as hell though. And then, and yes, he's finally said a word. Yay! Speaking of him finally saying a word though, let's get into this. So Miles one night, with all the ghost stuff ramping up, and one night Miles is just like out in the yard, okay, just doing ghost kid antics, looking up at the window into Flora's room. They're just like staring at each other. And when she goes to get him and bring him back inside, of course, I also underlined the line up the staircase where Quint had so hungrily hovered for him. Not a sound on the way had passed between us, and I had wondered, oh how I wondered, if he were groping about in his dreadful little mind for something plausible and not too grotesque. This is where I said she's kind of starting to hate him and his ghost kid antics. That's not the important part here. So they go to his room to put him back to bed. He's like 13 or something. I don't know. How old is this boy? Like in the movie, I think he's like 15 or something. I don't know.
He doesn't even know.
So she's basically like, what the heck were you doing, right? As anybody, especially with the ghost stuff happening, would be asking. I can still see his wonderful smile, the whites of his beautiful eyes, and the uncovering of his clear teeth shine to me in the dusk. If I tell you why, will you understand? Going forward a little bit, he was gentleness itself, and while I wagged my head at him, he stood there more than ever a little fairy prince. That's a crazy thing to say. It was his brightness indeed that gave me a respite. Would it be so great if you were really going to tell me? Well, he said at last, just exactly in order that you should do this. Do what? Think me, for a change, bad. How do you pronounce that word? Gaiety. I knew it! I shall never forget the sweetness and gaiety with which he brought out the word, nor how, on top of it, he bent forward and kissed me. It was practically the end of everything. Now, I would like to point out the fact that it doesn't say where he kisses her, and not to spoil the movie, we will get there, but I do vividly remember him kissing her in the movie, so I'm glad that that wasn't just like some like freaky writer on the team adapting this and was like, you know what, we should have the teenager kiss this grown woman. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it was so, because I mean, as of right now, they're kind of like alluding to it, but as of right now, I can't say with full certainty or anything. But him kissing her, it was like, yeah, this kid probably was abused, to say the least. Because, like, abused kids can do that and not know what's right and wrong. But then it says, I met his kiss, and I had to make, while I folded him for a minute in my arms, the most stupendous effort not to cry. Why is she so into it? Again, we don't know where. It doesn't say necessarily how obvious, if it was like an innocent kiss on the cheek, perhaps, or you know what I mean? It's like, he is a child. I don't know how young of a child, because like again, in the movie he's 15, I think. So therefore, it would be like, he should know a little bit better, but I don't know. And when did you go down? At midnight. When I'm bad, I am bad. I see. It's charming. But how could you be sure I should know it? Oh, I arranged that with Flora. She was to get up and look out, which is what she did do. It was I who fell into the trap. How otherwise should I have been bad enough, he asked. Then, after another embrace, the incident in our interview closed on my recognition of all the reserves of goodness that, for his joke, he had been able to draw upon. You're being haunted in this little child who has been freaking you out the most plays a prank on you, and you're just like, yo, you're so sweet. Everything's good in the world. Like, there's important things at hand here. You're not gonna be like, that was weird. Why would you do that? Like, what is going on? This child is manipulating her. Does she have a name? By the way, I don't know. What? So, as I mentioned this, I believe, the first chapter, which is like a prologue, it's talking about like it's a conversation between friends about sharing ghost stories, right? And the guy who's talking about his ghost story, which is the one we're reading, right? He says, a woman, she has been dead these 20 years. She sent me the pages in question before she died. A little further, she was a most charming person, but she was 10 years older than I. She was my sister's governess. This changes everything. She was the most agreeable woman I've ever known in her position. Oh my god, bro, this is Miles Fairchild just chilling out with some homies, and he's like, guys, you want to hear some crazy things that happened at my home when I was like 12? This makes it even weirder though. Hang on. Wait, 10 years older than... How old is this child? So like 13? 23? Okay. Who was she in love with? The story will tell. The story won't tell, said Douglas, not in any literal vulgar way. Wait, maybe this isn't him, because his name is Douglas. What is happening? Well, if I don't know who she was in love with, I know who he was. She was 10 years older, said her husband. All the more reason at that age, but it's rather nice, his long... So, either way, it was a child. Alright, the governess. Fancy's fuck word. I'm gonna keep reading. That's all I have to update on, I guess. I'm losing my mind. Okay, it is February 5th. Today, a new Sombr song comes out, so I'm determined to finish this recording, at least, before that comes out. I'm starting on chapter 21, okay? It's 7 a.m. I'm starting on chapter 21. I have less than 20 pages left, okay? And I want to check in again before I finish it. As we can see, it started getting good. At current moment, before I start chapter 21, I can see this going either way, okay? Because we'll get there. But because... even her bestie, Mrs. Rose, which I've started to come around to the bestieism of them both. I quite like them as buddies. But even she's starting to think that the governess is kind of a little crazy. So I could see this going either way. I can see this as this being like the biggest prank from these two little evil children, or also the biggest prank from two evil ghosts who are trying to ruin this woman's life. By the way, this isn't at all important. However, my book is low-key falling apart. Curse me for liking to crack my spines and have a good time reading. Now my notes. Let's begin. I've taken pictures of like... because it's crazy to me. Okay, hang on. Let me read this to you. This is about Miles. My face was close to his and he let me kiss him, simply taking it with indulgent good humor. Well, old lady? And then she says, is there nothing at all that you want to tell me? Why do they talk like they're an old married couple? This is like a 14-year-old boy and like a 20-something-year-old woman. I continue. So this was after they had a talk together, like alone in his room, okay? Like late at night. And then he starts getting a little snappy with her, okay? Talking about like his expulsion from school and everything like that. And then her candle mysteriously goes out and they all have a little fright, okay? And she says, why, the candle's out, I then cried. It was I who blew it, dear, said Miles. He's like, I get this book is super old, but he's like the perfect archetype of like the prankster child. And then I continue, again, about Miles, because they despite the fact that Miles hardly ever comes up in like the first half of this novella, he's like the best part of it, and so I get why he had such a big part of the entire movie, because like he is the best character in this entire story. She had helplessly gloomed at the upper regions. You leave him so long with Quint? Yes, I don't mind that now. She started... okay, so okay, her... how do I say this? Her character arc is wild. She goes from like, these two children, they are God itself. These two children can do nothing wrong. They are the most beautiful things I've ever laid my eyes on. These are my own children. I'm taking them on as my own children. And then she goes, Flora is still so gorgeous and lovely. Miles, that one's sick in the head. And then now, before I start chapter 21, she's like, okay, this Flora's possessed. Flora's possessed. This child is now evil, and I hate this child. And this child now hates her as well. If this is a prank and she's not actually just being like possessed, because I haven't made my mind up yet. But so she's like, God, this child, Flora, she's so evil, and I hate her, and she's ugly. She says that. Hang on, let me find it. Flora continued to fix me with her small mask of disaffection, and even at that minute, I prayed God to forgive me for seeming to see that. As she stood there holding tight to our friend's dress, her incomparable childish beauty had suddenly failed. She had quite vanished. I've said it already. She was hideously hard. She had turned common and almost ugly. But then, at the very end of that exact chapter, when she comes back, she's like, by the way, I did not see Flora again, like, that whole time. But Miles, on the other hand, I saw neither of them on my return, but on the other hand, I saw, as by an ambiguous compensation, a great deal of Miles. So when he appeared, I was sitting in the glow with my thoughts. He paused a moment by the door as if to look at me, then, as if to share them, came to the other side of the hearth and sank into a chair. We sat there in absolute stillness, yet he wanted, I felt, to be with me. So now she's back to being a Miles fan. What is going on? She can't make her mind up if these kids are evil or not, so why should I? I get it now. The Turn of the Screw, I think the title itself kind of gives it away. You know what I mean? It's a slow story, more so about going mad than anything truly supernatural, regardless of its presence. But low-key, I get her now. I get the governess. Especially about Miles, because, like, oh my gosh, they were talking about, like, his schooling and everything, and being expelled, and how he... Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. This is them talking about him... This is him talking about being expelled from school and everything. Well then, I quavered. If you're just as happy here, but that isn't everything. Of course, you know a lot. But you hint that you know almost as much, I risked as he paused. Not half I want to, Miles honestly professed. But it isn't so much that. What is it then? Well, I want to see more life. Dude. Man, he just wants to go to school. He just wants to learn. He almost got away. He almost got away from this. My poor sweet boy. And it isn't just because I'm imagining him as Finn Wolfhard still. And I get her now, and why she just constantly goes back and forth between Miles is the devil reincarnate, and also Miles is the sweetest little boy to ever exist. I get it. But yeah, so far in reading this, it obviously did start off very slow, and at times I wasn't really on board with it, but I do see why this is, I would say, his most popular work, as far as I'm aware, because I unfortunately do kind of really rock with it. It's working up to be very fun, and I'm enjoying it, and the topics, and yeah, I'm really liking it. It's a slow start for sure, but once it starts, it starts. I forgot to mention this also. I should have said this like 20 billion years ago in the video, because now people are probably commenting, acting like I'm an idiot. I'm not an idiot, I know, I just forgot to mention it. The Turn of the Screw is very, let's say, infamously known to have a very kind of nothing ending, okay? I'm well aware that the ending, well, obviously I haven't read it, but it is known for having an ending that kind of just ends and lets you kind of decide for yourself, okay? And so me making fun of the movie for going with that same idea... God, I'm so bad at articulating words. But, so I know that I made fun of the movie from my memory having a very nothing ending that was very bad. And I recognize that it's going with the book of doing the same thing. I recognize that. However, it's not so much of the movie ending and it being left up to interpretation or anything like that. I just mean, when I watched the movie, like, none of it made sense. Because as of right now, the book, sure, none of it makes sense in the way of, like, what's actually happening. Are these ghosts real? Is it just these children? You know what I mean? Like, it's doing a way better job of it than the movie from my memory. So maybe my problem with the movie is it just should have been made better. We'll see, but again, maybe me going in after reading the book, maybe it'll make everything make a little bit more sense because I'll have more information. So I think book adaptation movies shouldn't have to rely on the fact that you've read the book before. You know, I think it should be able to stand alone on its own. Like, I read it in middle school after I watched the 2017 movie, okay? It was still a great movie, so much so that I wanted to read the book to find out more information, but I didn't need that to understand the plot and what was happening. A movie adaptation of a book should still be able to stand alone as its own thing without having to read the book to understand more. But if the book does help me understand more, then hey, I'm all for it. I love reading. It's all right. Yeah, I hope that makes any sense. Yeah, I just now remembered. Wait, because I haven't seen this movie in so long, right? But occasionally, now that Finn is like having a resurgence of popularity with, you know, Stranger Things and everything, dude, I got on TikTok and I saw the Goldfinch edits in the year 2025. I haven't been on TikTok in a while, but oh my gosh, I remember the movie being adapted to be a more modern setting, which is fine. I am actually kind of glad that they did that. I mean, I don't remember like any of the movie, granted, but so in my mind, there's just like this one scene that I will like never forget, and it felt like they only changed it to be a modern setting just so Miles could have a Pop-Tart.
I was hungry.
He's just got a Pop-Tart, and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" or something, and he's just like, "I was hungry." He's got a Pop-Tart. I'm so excited to rewatch this movie. I don't even care if it's bad, because in my mind, it is like the funniest thing to ever exist. And also, what are you doing here? I'm Miles. I live here. So I have this much left. Honestly, maybe it's just me, again, struggling to get through classics occasionally just because of how dense the text can be in our world of brain rot. I've said this many times. Follow along. But I feel like I low-key will have to like check into Spark Notes afterwards just to make sure that I did capture all that he wanted me to. Like, I don't think any curtains have been called blue or anything yet, but if they have, I missed it. Maybe. So I'm gonna go finish this right now. I'm gonna go finish it right now. And then I'll come back and we'll talk. Finally, we'll be finishing this. Oh my gosh. So I know I said I would finish the book before I got back to y'all. I'm barely in chapter 21, but I just would like to point something out. Mrs. Gross says, "Well, are you so sure of the little gentleman?" And then the governess, she says, "I'm not sure of anything but you." Yuri is everywhere for those with the eyes to see. Who's with me that they should kiss? Dude. Lesbians. By the way, she wants to kill Miles again. She said, "Get off with his sister as soon as possible and leave me with him alone." Dude, I want everybody to leave all these children alone. I don't care if the children are actually evil or not. I just think that the adults are still making it worse even if they are. So they could genuinely be possessed by the devil himself, and I would still say get everybody away from them. Flora and Miles, you deserve so much better. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I don't like it. Okay, I'm going again. She's murdered a child! What is happening? Finished! What? Y'all, stay with me. This shit. It was real! It was listen, calm down. I am a ghost believer. And for this story, no, hang on. Listen. This lady is crazy. Stay with me. Literally the last 2 pages. everything goes down, and then it just ends. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is peak. Hang on. Hang on. Where's the kissing boys, by the way? Is it just because he says, okay, was it to everyone, I asked? No, it was only 2, but he gave a sick little head shake. I don't remember their names. Were there then so many? No, only a few. Those I liked. No kissing boys, though, as far as I can see. They lied to me. Yes, it was too bad. Too bad? What I suppose I sometimes said. To write home. This was all he got sent home for? He just said a little, like, maybe said fuck once or twice? But the next after that, I must have sounded stern enough. What were these things? We don't even know. Hang on. My sternness was all for his judge. His executioner. Yet it made him avert himself again, and that movement made me, with a single bound and an irrepressible cry, spring straight upon him. She's Foxy jump scaring him. He's like, yeah, so I was expelled for just saying things, and she's like, leave this boy alone. Okay, hang on. Dude, it's 9 a.m. I have the Bible and I'm preaching to you. From there again, against the glass, as if to belight his confession and stay his answer, was the hideous author of our woe, the white face of damnation. Peter Quint is at the window, watching this go down. I saw him, from the midst of my act, meet it with a divination, and on the perception that even now he only guessed that the window was still to his own eyes free, I let the impulse flame up to convert the climax of his dismay into the very proof of his liberation. No more, no more, no more, I shrieked to my visitant, as I tried to press him against me. Is she here? Miles panted as he caught with his sealed eyes the direction of my words. Then, as his strange she staggered me, and, with a gasp, I echoed it. Miss Jessel, Miss Jessel. He with sudden fury gave me back. He knows. He's a knower. Listen. I'm just reading to y'all now. It's my Bible. I have to cite the scripture. Listen. It's he? I was so determined to have all my proof that I flashed into ice to challenge him. Whom do you mean by he? Peter Quint, you devil! His face gave again round the room its convulsion supplication. Where? He knows the ghosts are real. What do y'all mean? Oh my gosh. It leaves it up to interpretation. He knows. I would never. I will always believe my son, Miles Fairchild. He says they're real. They are real. Let's continue. What does he matter now, my own? What will he ever matter? I have you. I launched at the beast, but he has lost you forever. Then, for the demonstration of my work, there, I said to Miles. But he had already jerked straight round, stared, glared again, and seen but the quiet day. With the stroke of the loss I was so proud of, he uttered the cry of a creature hurled over an abyss, but the grasp with which I recovered him might have been that of catching him in his fall. I caught him, yes, I held him. It may be imagined with what a passion, but at the end of a minute I began to feel what it truly was that I held. We were alone with the quiet day, and his little heart, dispossessed, had stopped. And what happened with Flora? Because I remember in the movie, they, couldn't leave the house. That was, a big thing. They couldn't leave the house, okay? But Flora, she just gets sick, and she leaves with Mrs. Gross. So it's just... And it gets weird. Before the start of the chapter, she says, literally, I'll get it out of him. He'll meet me. He'll confess. If he confesses, he's saved. And if he's saved, then you are. And then later in that same paragraph, he says, well, I think I'm glad Bly agrees with me. I don't think so, buddy, because you just died 5 pages later. The devil leaves his body and he's like, 5 stars. What happened with Flora? I want to know. She's gonna come back and be like, my brother died the moment you left her alone with him? I mean, it doesn't look great. Rest in peace, Miles Fairchild. You were the best part of this entire novella. And not just because I'm still thinking of him as Finn Wolfhard in my mind. That shit was fire, actually. See, I see why that took me so long to finish back in the day. Because it only starts really, amping up maybe around, chapter 18 or so. And there's, 24, okay? I'm sorry for everything I said. That was peak. My highlighter's dead. That's crazy! That's crazy. I see why there's so many adaptations of that now. But demanding, after all, for a fair front, only another turn of the screw of ordinary human virtue. It's called the turn of the screw, dude. Oh my gosh. I feel I like need to take like a college course on just like analyzing that. It's definitely not for everyone, and honestly, I don't think it would ever make the best adaptation. Like, again, I see why it has so many now because it is super good, but I don't think it could ever fully, I don't think it could ever really work on the big screen that much. You know what I mean? And honestly, maybe that's where the movie failed so much. It's just because so much of it is so slow. The whole point is to put you like in her footsteps, okay? Of wondering yourself if you're going crazy, okay? Because you're sitting here like, are the ghosts real? Are they not? Like, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Poor Miles. I feel bad for him. He's a fictional character, by the way. Just to make sure that I'm right. Full book analysis. The governess sees Peter Quinn through a window and believes that Miles sees him too. I feel like he does. I feel like he does. Spark notes, you are the unreliable narrator. Yeah. Obviously. By the end of the story, however, it is explained that Miles said things to the boys at school he liked. What Miles said is not expanded upon. His infraction might involve knowledge of heterosexual acts, masturbation, or homosexuality. Why are we immediately assuming he's a freak? Maybe he just said fuck. Like, maybe he went up to the kids he liked who were like his besties and he's like, hey guys, I learned a new word. Fuck. Don't tell anybody though, it's a bad one. And then they just started going around like, dude, listen to this new word Miles told me about. Fuck. Why does it have to immediately be knowledge of what does heterosexual acts mean? He's like 13, 15 in the movie, so I guess we can go there and assume maybe 15 at most. I don't think that like people are fucking at the boarding school or something if that's what you mean. Masturbation. If they are like 13, are we assuming he's going around like, guys, get this, if you put your hand on or homosexuality. Now, is this where it came from that he got expelled because he was kissing boys? If so, that's the one I'm inclined to believe. Miles Fairchild bisexuality confirmed. Thank you. Let's put this to rest because I am the author has been long dead. Okay, so I will give the answer I will give the answer definitively of what he was expelled for. He was expelled for kissing boys. Thank you. The reader is left to wonder if what Miles said is a result of some sort of unknown violence or abuse he experienced himself, or if he was perhaps expressing romantic inclinations towards the other boys. However, it's a good point, actually. That's actually a good point, because I mentioned that there is it's kind of implied that he was perhaps touched as a child. So I do think the way that he acts about the governess could also be kind of like that, because he's a little bit too fond of her at his young age, which is not necessarily like impossible. It's not impossible to be like young and have attractions to older people. Happens all the time. The only problem is when it goes places, obviously. Low-key, the fact that Miles is kind of like one of the main characters and he doesn't like do anything or barely even show up until like the last few chapters is crazy. Film character. Gay. Okay, so a lot of this book is obviously up to interpretation, so I'm gonna give my interpretation. First things first, I do believe he was definitely expelled for kissing boys. That's just my personal belief. Insert the clip of Finn Wolfhard. Everybody wants my characters to be gay. I'm not the one auditioning and getting those roles, okay? You're the one picking the gay roles. Or at least the ones that could be possibly assumed it's left up to be gay, okay? He's... Richie and Eddie were assumed to be gay since the 80s. It just wasn't allowed at the time. Somebody needs to help him. I do think that it's kind of implied to be at least, like, maybe a metaphor for, like, grooming kind of actions with how Miles acts in some of the thing. It's weird, okay? I think that the ghosts are real. I think they are being possessed. I do think that the governess is indeed like an actual crazy person, and she went around it the completely wrong way. And I do think that she's more so the reason as to why Miles dies at the end. But I do think it was real. She just went about it the completely wrong way.
Obviously, my own interpretation. You can read it for yourself or even watch the movies for yourself and come to your own conclusions, although every adaptation, of course, is its own adaptation, and I'm just going off of the actual text itself. So, it's very possible that in the many adaptations that this story has gotten in the many years, that they do completely different things with it, and that's completely chill. But this is my interpretation. Now that I finally finished The Turn of the Screw, since I bought it in like early 2019, and I've always planned to, and I understand it as much as I can, it's time to finally rewatch the movie for the first time in 6 years for me. I'm sure it'll be great and finally make so much more sense. First, I have here the trailer, the official trailer for The Turning, and I wanna watch that together, just so we can have like an idea for the movie before we go in together. I got cherry Pepsi and a McDonald's cup.
The children are very special.
Chopped! Chopped!
This is my first live-in job.
Well, I hope you know what you're doing.
Live-in job.
The children
Er.
should have to suffer.
I remember that scene.
That's simple.
I don't go in that part of the house.
It's so much more dramatic than the book.
You shouldn't be in here.
I'm Miles. I live here.
I know what you're afraid of. Keeping the lights on won't keep you safe.
You're gonna leave me, aren't you?
I'm not going anywhere.
Promise?
Cross my heart and hope to die.
Guys, Miles.
Everyone dies, Miles. So it looks great, right? Loki, why don't we put this on 1.5 speed? No, let's not. Movie time with my buddies. Me and my best friends. You guys. I don't remember this, but I don't remember much of the movie, to be fair. Who's surprised? Whoa. Spooky. So cool.
I'm going from 25 screaming kids to one little girl.
Little does she know. Ooh. Well, not two little girls, but a girl and a boy. Yeah! I know that guy. Not personally. That'd be crazy if I knew Finn Wolfhard personally. With all the things I've said about him in this video. Finn Wolfhard, if you want to be my friend, let me know. I think we would get along well. Same as Sombr. Hit me up, Sombr. I just realized I'm gonna have to rewatch this whole movie to edit this section. That's crazy. Good luck, future me, who's watching this right now. Yeah, I just read that.
You must be Kate. Yes. Hi.
Lesbians with an age gap. Pull down.
They're thoroughbreds. Now come along.
What does that mean? I'm scared of something not scary. Dude, we gotta get Jungle Mist on this.
Yeah, Miles did that.
We have problems with him puncturing boobs. He's just a kid.
I have an idea.
He's a misogynist. That's why he's gay.
I took a little
I love this song. She already doesn't like Miles, and she hasn't even met him yet. Is it time? So soon? It is!
Who are you?
I'm Miles.
Miles.
I live here. Dude, they're so cute. They make such good siblings.
You don't like One Direction?
What? I haven't.
Oh, you don't know who they are?
No.
Well, Jesus. Oh my God. You don't know who One Direction is? Wow.
I meet Miles.
I love their dynamic in the book and in this movie.
You're a sleepwalker like Flora.
I don't sleepwalk.
How'd you know, silly? You're asleep the whole time.
That's good.
He died.
Oh.
Everyone dies, Miles.
Miles was expelled. He attacked another student.
What?
What do you want?
Dude, they were so nice in the book. Until drama started happening. Oh, wait! I remember. Dude, watching this when I had severe arachnophobia, I'm somewhat more so recovered now, in that only some spiders send me into psychosis. These kids are evil from the start. They don't even get to be like, these kids are the most beautiful, the most loveliest, they are my babies. Like, we don't even get that at this point.
You'll get up there.
Nah. Why does Miles get to leave the property, but she can't? Meanwhile, in the book, she could, and it was like, what's happening?
What if I ask
I'm like thinking too much about the book in relation to this. This is its own thing, let's be real.
Where'd they find you anyways?
It's mean.
You need to stop talking to me like that. You're not our mother, you're not our family. Stop pretending to be.
He's so sassy.
I'm leaving. Yeah, just leave. Leave like everyone else.
Well, you're driving her away. What do you expect her to do? You suck. I hate you. I'm gonna leave. Yeah, leave like everybody else. What are we doing here?
Can we play flashlight tag now?
Yeah, I love flashlight tag. I only played it like once in my life because I never had friends, and it wasn't very fun because I didn't know them, and they had to let me join because my family was like, "Come on, kids, be nice." Yeah. It started feeling as though nothing happens in this movie. It's like the book. Nothing happens except for when it does. Cherry Pop-Tarts are really good. That was always my big three: strawberry, cherry, and blueberry. But chocolate fudge is good too. Yeah.
Oh my god, what happened to your face? Explain.
You were like, Papa. I was hungry.
I am.
Why does he hold it like that?
Don't talk to them like that.
He's holding it. I remember this very vividly, actually, so I think we're getting very close to the ending of the movie, I fear.
Whatever your mother has, let's hope it's not genetic.
What the heck is their problem? They were besties in the book. Hello. It's a phone guy.
You know that, don't you?
It doesn't matter. Oh, he's psychic too. But also, like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. No matter what adaptation, I'm always gonna feel bad for Miles. That's my child.
Well, let me leave.
Did I just leave? Heck yeah. Oh, I forgot.
I can fix her, just let me. No, you can't, you broke her! I can't fix it.
Right.
She's broken. Just like you.
There's that, bro. Oh my gosh. Dude, Loki, if they just kept it with her even just like realizing that nothing happened and she was still in the kitchen, I still would like that because I mean that would be like, oh my gosh, but at least that means that's what about to happen. Maybe she got like a that's so Raven vision, but instead they did this where like the whole point I guess is she's just crazy like her mom and like. But fear not, we have the turning alternate ending. Dude, this is so awkward because there is no music. So far, it's so much more book accurate. Yeah, book accurate. This was the best ending. They should have done this. Oh yeah, that was in the trailer. Why did they use There's no point for that in the trailer. It was just like, this is kind of cool, and it's technically in the movie. Yeah, I'm surprised that this movie didn't freak me out more with all the spider stuff, though, I'm not gonna lie. Especially back in the day when I was a lot more arachnophobic. I think spiders don't deserve rights. Oh, and they brought it back, though! Dude, this is better than even the book. Because my favorite character didn't die, my son. 1.9 average. Loki, not as bad as I remember. Rating? Yeah. Oh, I've watched this before. Yeah.
Hey guys, so I'm hiding because there's something I want to show you. Richie Tozier if he was blonde.
I'm going to be incriminating myself a little bit. But I saw an edit. I saw an edit on TikTok, and it had deleted scenes from The Turning, and I was like, I hadn't seen those. I thought there was only like the deleted ending. 6 days ago, somebody uploaded to YouTube The Turning deleted scenes. So now we are going to watch those together. It's been a minute since I've seen the movie. Been editing. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, this was in the book. This was in the book. Where would this go? Why is he so dramatic? Oh, damn. Whoa. Why? What did happen? This wasn't in the book. Did you do that?
I didn't do it.
Okay, thanks for answering.
And when he'd taken his last breath, I left him there.
I would too. That was so fun though. I can't believe that after 6 years since I watched that movie, there's still some new things I can watch. With you guys for the first time. How beautiful. Okay, now I'm fully done, I think. God bless. Thank God. About time. Now I just gotta finish editing this. Oh my gosh. Wish me luck to actually finish this video. God. So, did reading The Turn of the Screw by Henry James make the movie make more sense? Honestly, I think yeah. I think it helped make me enjoy the movie a lot more. Was the ending still bad? Was the whole movie still bad? Kind of. It wasn't great. But was it as bad as I remembered?
No, I would say no. And I think I did enjoy the movie a lot more purely because I read the book. I still would have preferred either the alternate ending or ending with them just leaving. I get what they were trying to do there, but like they could have done it way better, and therefore they shouldn't have tried it off. But yeah, I think a 2.5. It's not bad. The book is better. I think we all knew the book was going to be better, though. Let's be honest, the book is always better. It's 9 times out of 10, that's how it goes. Turning, not a bad movie. It's not a good movie, but it's not a bad one. I think it was extra fun just because I was recording for it. I think it'd be even more fun. You get a bunch of friends around. I think it's better and more fun if you read the book first, too. Yeah, I guess I'm done. I don't know what else to say. Bye-bye.